by Lani-Woo here, and I'm Lani-Woo. I'm inviting you to join me for my podcast, Reiki Rocks and Reflections, where I share how I use Reiki and crystal healing to bring illumination, perspective, and alignment to everyday life. I can't wait for us to chat. Hi, welcome to Reiki Rocks and Reflections. I'm your host, Lani-Woo, and I'm so excited to be here today. Today, it is my intention to talk to you about space clearing. So predominantly today, we're going to talk about the space that you live in. So we'll talk about the things that you can do to energetically clear the space that you live in, but it's not only limited to that. You can apply this to other areas where you work, where you study, and things of that nature. So that is our intention for today. But before we delve in, let me go ahead and do our crystal audit of the crystals that I have on today. So this is mother of pearl earrings, jade, titanium, turquoise, Ethiopian opal, dragon's blood, jasper, moonstone, garnet, tiger's eye, lapis lazuli, coral. This is a seed. Moss agate. This is a lot. Malachite, green aventurine, howlite, clear quartz, citrine, tiger's eye, labradorite, and then this is calligraphy stone. Okay, wait. Septarian, labradorite, black tourmaline. Black tourmaline. Okay, now we're done. If you want to share what you have on today, what is your crystal armor? Drop down in the comments and let us know what you're wearing and why. Okay. So when we are dealing with energetically clearing a space, I want us to think about those spaces that we are in that we enjoy and make us feel good, bubbly and effervescent and full of joy, energized. What does that look like for us in those places? Is it a color? Are there sounds? Is it a smell? Is it a posture or an attitude? What are the things about those areas that we love? What about them energetically make them what they are to us, if that makes sense? So I want you to think in terms of that and how you feel when you're at your parents' house or at the house of one of your loved ones that you really, really are close with and enjoy their company. What does that feel like for you? What are the colors? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? I want you to kind of picture and feel those things when we're talking about the space that we live in. Okay. So like your auntie's house or your aunt's, your uncle's house. Do you associate that with being satisfied and full because they love to cook? And so every time you're there, there's something yummy that's being prepared. And you are welcome and encouraged to get a plate and to partake until you are satisfied. What does that feel like? And more so, when you feel that way, what does that make you do? What behaviors does that lead to? Does it make you want to open your heart more? Does it lead to you sharing more of yourself? So I want us to think about things along those lines as we're talking about our energetic space that we exist in. Okay, so have you ever walked into an area and or a space and it is icky, you do not like the way it feels, and you want to leave right away. um, and contrast that with the feelings that you feel when you walk into a space and it's a positive reaction. You feel rejuvenated, bright, peaceful. Um, and how did that make you feel? And did it make you want to leave or stay? So I want us to think about these things because these spaces that we're in could potentially be holding the energy of the people who were there before us. So if you're living in a home, apartment, or a condominium that maybe someone else inhabited before you, that place could still have some of those energetic memories, energetic and emotional memories of fights. Maybe with someone who they were in love, but they fought a lot of times. Maybe it was some people who weren't in love, but they fought a lot of times. Like that energy is still in those places until it's cleared. Um, and it could lead to the difference between feeling uplifted, welcomed, and open and receptive. And the difference between that and feeling depressed and heavy and drab, and sad. So that's the difference in between those type of places. What energetically leads to those differences is what we're trying to think about and to talk about today. So I'm going to talk to you. We're going to talk like we're old friends. So what does it mean to clear a space? What does it mean to do that? Well, the first part, which I'm not going to really go into too much in depth because I think it's pretty, it should be self-explanatory. Everybody should know, but you physically clean the area. So you're going to physically clean it, get your cleaners out and your water, you're going to bust the suds, and make sure that physically the area is clean. And then after the area has physically been cleaned, then you can deal with the energy of the area. So what does that mean, clearing an area energetically? It means you're replacing any type of negative or stagnant energy with uplifting or positive energy or any type of energy that you want to harness in your current situation. So then we think about what spaces should we clear, okay? And I would suggest that you start with those areas that are most trafficked, most traveled. So that's going to be your exit and your entryways. That's going to be your areas where people gather. So your kitchen areas, your living and dining room areas, your dens, places, family rooms, places like that. You're going to hit those areas first. And also those personal areas that are important for you. So your bedroom, you're gonna treat that. You want to clear that area and make sure because that's where you take your armor off daily. That's where you build your strength up to come back the next day and fight some more. So that area is important. So you're going to want to touch those areas as well. You want to make sure that these areas maintain a light, positive energy. Okay. Um, so let's start with the door, right? So you would start with whatever door you use most times, and that's going to depend on how you live. Okay. So if you have a front door that you don't use and you travel in through your garage, you enter your living area through the garage, then the garage door or the door that you enter the house to through the garage is the area or the front door that you're gonna treat. Sometimes these doors have a frame that has a ledge at the top, and you can actually sit things on top of that ledge. Um, I think these are lucky doors because they make things a lot more simplistic in terms of treating, is you can, if it's a significant um, length of a wedged ledge area, you can sit the crystals right on that ledge area, right above the door threshold. Bada boom, bada bing, right? Um, that's what I do at my door, and I'll show you a picture of that. But if you don't have that ledge and you need to figure out another way to do it, there's several ways. Um, you could hang a plaque on artwork that has the crystals that you want at the door. You can hang that over your threshold. I like black tourmaline. It's one of my favorite black stones for protection. So my front door is treated with black tourmaline and selenite. You can use whatever I would advise. You use whatever your favorite black stone is. You could use a black tourmaline, but you could also use a black obsidian, shungite, jet, you could use a hematite, whatever you like, use it. But I have a black tourmaline and then a selenite because selenite is clearing continually the black tourmaline because the black tourmaline is picking up all that negative energy and eating that up for me. So I need something to eat the energy up off the black tourmaline so I can continue to clear that energy. Now, like I said, if you don't have the ledge, you could also use a pouch with whatever stones you're using, and then hang that above your threshold, your door threshold. So you could do it that way. I also like green aventurine for the door because it deals with your fortune, it deals with your luck, it deals with, excuse me, opportunity. So I think that's something that is beneficial to have at the front door, right? So green aventurine, whatever your favorite black protective stone is, selenite, a clear quartz, whatever you like in terms of crystal combinations that resonate for you for protection. Okay. Um, Now after you cross the threshold and come into the house, then you have the other rooms to deal with. So what I will do is suggest some crystals that you can put in those areas that are most traveled, where people tend to gather. And you can place these anywhere. You can put them in decorative bowls and place them throughout the room. You can place them in the corners of a room in the decorative bowls, or just place them in the corners naked, or in a little burlap sack pack, you know. You could use raw chunks of crystals and display them as like artistic artifacts, but you know that they're working for you at the same time. So there's no wrong way to do it. And what I would suggest is you play around with things and see how you feel with them. Um, Look on the internet and see what other people are doing as well. Ask people what they do in terms of their crystal placements, and do what you want to do. Have an experiment all on your own and journal what the results are. Because what you're going to do is you're going to use that to come up with your own clearing plan that you execute ever so often whenever you feel like you need to do so. Okay. So for the crystals in the areas of the places that are traveled a lot, rose quartz, okay, deals with love, okay, unconditional love, apatite, carnelian, citrine, clear quartz, sodalite, of course, is a great communication stone, but you could also use lapis lazuli, another great communication stone, amethyst, apophyllite, right? Shungite and selenite. Um, Fluorite. I don't know if I said that, but that deals with focus and organization. It's a great crystal for any type of kitchen areas, dining room area, anywhere where organization is the key. Fluorite is a great crystal for that. So those crystals you could place in any place, anywhere, on top of your cabinets in your kitchen. You can also put them in your drawers. Put them in kitchen drawers where no one sees them. They're still going to work. Still going to work for you. So that's as far as the most traveled areas in your in your house or in your living area, but for your bedroom, that's also important, right? And I'll show you a picture of a decorative item or a decorative way to display the crystals. I'll include a picture of that as well for you. But as far as your bedroom's concerned, these are some of my favorite crystals for the bedroom. Howlite, lepidolite, hematite, selenite, clear quartz, rose quartz, amethyst, aquamarine, and rainbow moonstone. These are this is my crystal combination for the bedroom. But again, do what resonates for you, you know? And again, you can place these in the corners of the room. You could put them in a decorative bowl, put them underneath your bed. I mean, there's so many different ways. And if you want to know more ways, contact me because, I'm your crystal priestess and I can let you know what crystals to use and where to put them. That's going to be the perfect prescription for you and your current situation. Um, so remember that. So now I'm going to move on to some other things that you can do outside of crystal treatment to amplify and treat the energy in your living situation. But again, it's not just limited to your living situation. This can be transferred to any area that you inhabit. Some other techniques that you can do to clear the energy in the area. You can clap your hands in the corners of every room to kind of shake up any stagnant energy. And I would add a little extra piece to that. Play your favorite song. Okay. Because remember, intentional layers. Remember that. So you playing your favorite song that you love to hear and you dance to, that's a certain energy in itself, right? That you want to bring into your space. So you're bringing that in, why? Because you're playing your favorite song and you're going to dance. You're going to dance. This will make you feel like you want to dance. That's going to bring in a certain energy as well. And when you get to, you're dancing, you get to the corners, you dancing, get to the corners, it works. And you're having a good time. Just that, what I just did with you, I already feel a shift in this room. So you're having a good time and you're shifting the energy, and that energy is going to stay there. That positive, uplifting energy is going to stay there. And that in itself is going to bring a certain feeling to you, to know that you are responsible for bringing that yummy energy, but also that you can do it. You can do it. You know what you need to do to be able to do it. So that there's power in that. Um, So clapping of the hands, but you can also ring a bell in the corners. You can also sit in the middle of the room and play your Tibetan bowl or a crystal bowl. It will clear that energy right on up. The vibrations of it will clear it right on up. You can also drop salt in the corners of the room, black salt, white salt, pink salt, whatever salt, just set an intention as you do it. Set an intention as to, and you're going to do this with everything that you do in this clearing process, as to what energy, going to make a statement about what energy you want clear and what energy you want to bring in and amplify. Okay. So you could also use brick dust also in the corners. And you can do this outside, so you can create an external perimeter of protection and then bring that inside and create an internal perimeter, if that makes sense, of protection as well. Roses are very powerful because they have a very, very high energetic frequency. So just putting them in a room will definitely offset the energy and amplify it. Get you a dozen white or red roses. Oh my gosh. It will totally rejuvenate the energy of a room. It will. It will. And play with the colors too, because each color has a certain metaphysical property, because like think about it. with roses having such a high energetic vibration, it's the perfect flower to symbolize love and passion, because it's strong, So think about in terms of that. So place roses strategically throughout your house, um, or your area. You can do that with lemons as well. Lemons are a natural clearing. They will clear energy. And when you put them out, watch them, because if they turn black, you're dealing with some toxic energy in there. You can also do it with oranges as well. Placing, you know, uh, 5 oranges on in a decorative bowl in the kitchen will do wonders for the energy. You can also use salt water in small containers in certain places. Will definitely transform the energy as well. When we talked about cleaning, that being the first part is to physically clean the area. But you could also use herbs. You could do an herbal floor wash, and that can bring in some of those energetic elements that you're wanting in your area to amplify the energy. And it can also dispel some energy that you want. Um, One of my favorite mixtures is cloves. Cloves are a great herb to kind of calm down any type of negative communication. So that's like gossip, backbiting, just bad mouthing. It will diffuse that. Cloves, mint, sage, basil, all good herbs for protection, but also they have spiritual elements as well that could help you. Lavender, another great herb. So what I typically do is make a tea out of these on the stove, and then that tea I pour into my mop water, and I use that for my floors. It will immediately diffuse your house with the greatest smell ever. It smells so delicious, and it has a way of resetting your mood. It's just phenomenal. Try it. Um, but you can also use this mixture as a bath as well. So, and I feel like that's a dual type of way to clear the energy, because you're clearing the energy of your personal body, but you're also clearing the energy that your personal body is in. So, can you imagine the intensification of that? So, I advise you to try it and see how you feel, how it makes you feel, and what results you have for that. You can also use blue anil in a water mixture in a small container by the door. It's also protective. You can smudge. A lot of people smudge. Um, I love to smudge with frankincense and myrrh. I love that smell combination. It is so godly. It's so godly. I love it. But just make sure, if you're going to be smudging with incense, that you have your windows open and your doors open so that the energies that you're trying to dispel have somewhere to go. That's important. You can light your incense by the door to bring in good energy. That's something good you could do. You could also rearrange one item with intention in your house. Move your couch to the opposite end of the room. Switch a couch from one room to that to the next. Like, do things like that mindfully and see what that does to the energy, what that does to you energetically. What does that make you feel like? Did you get up? Were you doing like 25 push-ups in the middle of the night? Like, exaggerate, but like, make a note of how you see it affect you in your personal day-to-day life. Open one window. I love to do this when I used to live up north, where we would actually get 4 seasons. When it starts getting cold, opening up that window, letting that cold air come in. Wonderful. I love it. So clear, so rejuvenating. Um, so I love to share experiences with you, my personal experiences when I can. And so I'm sharing all of these techniques with you today because these are things that I do for myself in the areas that I'm in. where I need to energetically lift or repel. And I recently had a situation, an experience with a tenant in a space. And she had allegedly, she had a co-occurring um, disorder um, with mental and substance abuse issues. So two things happening at once, two diabolic things happening at once. And I was obviously the last person to know about it. And there were some other things that were uncovered that were very interesting as well. And so this led to a very toxic type of environment in which I had to combat with these techniques to try to keep um, an environment of uplifting energy and repelling all of the negativity. And it was a constant challenge for me. I was always trying to come up with new ways to amplify the energy in the space. So I thought I would use this platform to share some of those things with you in hopes that they will help you as well. And I know a lot of people already have spiritual hygiene processes for their living situations. Um, but I challenge you, if you already have a practice that you're doing, um, I challenge you to add something to it, increase the intensification, uh, increase the amount that you do. So maybe you did it every 2 weeks. So try it every week and see, or try something new with it. For me, a client, I am always evolving. There are always things that I'm learning. I'm switching things out. I'm trying new things, and it really just adds to the successful results for me. So I encourage you to do the same because this clearing and balancing of the energy around you is something that is definitely beneficial to you. And I think that the more that you do it, you're going to see the benefits. But then if you do it and you see the benefits and then you stop doing it, the difference, I think, will also become an incentive for you to pick it back up and continue to do it. So yeah, I think it's also just the best way to cultivate your own energetic frequency, which leads to your own success. So it's in your best interest to do it. And so now we're faced with like, how often should you do it? And we I think we spoke to that a little bit before with saying it kind of depends on the situation that you're in. Sometimes it's necessary to do it weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly. It just depends on the amount of negativity that you're dealing with, as well as if there's more than one individual. So if there's a group of people that you are sharing space with, they all have their own different frequency of energy. And they're attracting their own energies with them. So think about that in terms of clearing. So you may have to do it a little bit more in that situation because you have a lot more energy that you're dealing with. So you just kind of examine your own personal situation and make a decision from there. But like I said, it's definitely beneficial. So what's coming up for me is like, well, what does it feel like when you need to energetically cleanse an area? Well, in my experience, it can look like confusion, um, irritability. It could look like a heaviness, an unrestfulness, trouble sleeping, depression, feel depressed and heavy. For me, misplacing items and things like that. So when stuff starts happening around me in the space, like the things I just mentioned, I'm like, okay, it's time to clear. It becomes an indication to me that yeah, something needs to leave this space. And you will see what that means for you because you will begin to create your own spiritual hygiene Bible, if you will. and making notes of the things that work for you, the things that are, um, non-negotiable for you, things that have to be like this, it gives you the opportunity to do that, to make those um, notes for yourself. So it's important. Like spiritual hygiene is really important, especially if you're a healer or you're doing anything, working any type of energy. It's important. So I want us to remember that we are just like large, huge house plants. And so it's important that we get food and water and sunlight, just like a plant. But it's also imperative that our environment is positive for us and is conducive to growing and evolving, just like a plant, right? So, and this is how we do it for ourselves, is by making sure that our energy is conducive to the things that we want and the things that we want to bring about in our lives, right? So, I want to encourage you to share with us your best practices for clearing space. If you have any that you want to share, if you have any questions about the things that we spoke about, crystals or anything, please drop down in the comments and share. I also want to encourage you to subscribe to Awakening Airwaves. We have such an amazing group of women who have so many phenomenal things to share with you. And I want to make sure that you have access to it and you don't miss it. So by subscribing to Awakening Airwaves, you make sure that you are on board and you're not missing any of it. So go ahead and subscribe. And I want to thank you for tuning in and having this chat with me about clearing your energy and how important that is to our everyday lives. And I am your host, Lani-Woo, and I want to thank you for tuning in to Reiki Rocks and Reflections. I will definitely see you next time. I so enjoy our time together. Peace.